So last time I made a psychology video, I was talking about the fact that the reason you might be losing is just because you're too nonchalant with your losses and just moving on to the next without even figuring out what actually happened, and you just hoping and praying and trading every movement you see. And on today's video, I'm talking about the complete opposite, which is being too fearful, thinking too much of the loss. So in essence, you gotta be in the middle line where you care too much of the loss and where you don't care at all. So you gotta be here. You gotta remain stoic. You cannot think too much of the loss, because you're just gonna be too emotional about it, and it cannot be on the plan maybe. And you cannot be too nonchalant about it, because you're just gonna say, oh yeah, on to the next, but it's not essentially factored in, and you're not thinking about what actually happened. Like, we all have misconfluences when we're about to place a trade. Like, we got our confluences, and we got the things that might go against us, and we all know that. But the reason why we take the trade is because we believe it's gonna go to RTP. Otherwise, we wouldn't take it, right? But our confluences are heavier than the misconfluences, that the things that might not play out, that might go against us. So yeah, you gotta be in a fine line in the middle, because you might not be going along with what your data says. Because, like, you might know on paper that you have a 20% win rate with a 5R, that you're profitable. On paper you're profitable, but can you stomach those 8 losses streaks? I mean, that's hard on the psychology wise. So you gotta think, are your losses factored in? Because you gotta think, like, once you exit the trade, once it is a loss, you gotta ask yourself, is it a valid loss? And how was my performance in the trade? And after, how were my emotions? Because a loss can be valid and a loss can be not valid. Same as a win. You can have a good win or a bad win. And the factor that's gonna determine the good or the bad is if you followed your plan. Because everything is factored in on the plan. But once you go, like, fucking around and doing all the things that the plan tells you not to do, you're gonna build a different path, and you're gonna build things that are in the data. So in essence, you're not doing the same stuff, so you're gonna achieve different results, and those results in the end might not be profitable. And we all know the other traits which you can't have in trading: FOMO, over trading. You can't be too euphoric, you can't be overconfident. Like me, for example. Like, beginning of this year, I passed 2 100k challenges on the same month, and once I got to the verification stage, guess what happened? I got into drawdown both, because I was overconfident. I was like 3 wins in a row. I made 5R, 3R, about 11R in the same, like, 2 weeks. And that put me overconfident. And once I got to the verification stages, I said, like, fuck it, let's trade them both and get this verification stage done. And that's another thing, like, platforms do, because the verification stage is just to play with your emotions. Like, they make it seem easier, but it really isn't, just because of the psychology side. But yeah, moving on to the to our subject, like you gotta think about your data. Like you're thinking way too much about your losses, but what does your data says? Like, are you stressing about, but like the data is playing out correctly? Like if you're in the drawdown phase, okay, fair enough. Like there might be something wrong you're doing with your technicals or something. Like your psychology may affect you. Like you might have been following the plan, but because you think it's too many losses in a row, but they are factoring, like you might be going out of your plan just on because of the psychology, because of the losses are fucking you mentally. But like you gotta think, like if you have a 50% win rate, like the 50%, they that doesn't mean like in 10 trades, yes, mathematically in 10 trades you might have 5 losses, 5 wins, but they will not come like that. They might come like 5 losses in a row and then 5 wins in a row. Like the statistics are spread all over. So you gotta think, is the win rate, is it being equal to the results you're experiencing on live markets? You gotta remain always stoic. Always say to yourself, it is what it is. I know what happened. We move on to the next, and we keep the right psychology, and we don't fuck up, because then it's gonna lead you to over risk. It's gonna lead you to make some bullshit decisions. Maybe even trading NFP here. Maybe go for some longs, and then boom, you lost your whole account. You gotta watch out for that. And like most people know their win rates, but then they can't stomach the losses, like the reality of their win rate. Because let's say if you have a 50% win rate, let me give you an analogy. If I flip a coin and I say, if it lands on heads, you give me $50. If it lands on tails, I'll give you $50. If the coin gets to, I don't know, heads, and you lost $50, like, are you surprised? Are you surprised you lost $50? No, are you surprised that you lost because it landed on heads and not tails? You're not, right? You might be mad because you lost $50, but you're not surprised because you know heads or tails, the probabilities are 50-50. So if you know your win rate is 50-50, it's 50-50. Like, why are you bitching about losing once or twice? Like, you also that's why you gotta know your data as well, because you might not know your limit of losing streaks in your strategy. Like, is 4 losses in a row cool with your strategy? Maybe. Is like 6 normal? If it's not, something's not working. And you should know, you should feel it. Like by the 3rd or 4th, might be doing something. Because you also might be like 3 losses in a row. Okay, you're playing it cool. You know, like it's normal. Until the 5th. But then these 3 losses impact you so much that you start changing things and then just keep on adding more losses than usual. I'm hoping I'm making myself understandable here. But yeah, guys, like I said, work your ass off. Figure out your plan. Figure out your strategy. Figure out your data. Go on the backtesting. Figure out everything, the maximum details you can do. Just don't backtest like nothing. No, backtest and collect the data. Know which times are more profitable, which sessions, which pairs, what time of the day, like entries, everything really. Maximum losing streak, maximum winning streak, win rate, your best risk to reward, the most performing things, and then you just pull it all together, and you have your plan. You have your data. That's why you should follow. Like, the plan is the commander, is the general, and you are just a soldier. So you just gotta follow the plan. The plan tells you this, you follow it. And don't ask questions, you just execute. And yeah, it all should be good. Okay? So keep your head up. If something not working, you already know it's back to the drawing board. So yeah, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.